let's do a little get ready with me, shall we? While I talk about some life updates. So I'm starting off with the Glow recipe, Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. The first time that I tried this recently was in my full face of pink makeup that I did for Valentine's Day. And this is a really popular pre-makeup skin prep item that a lot of people use, and it's very pretty, very hydrating, smells amazing. But enough about that, let's talk about me. JK, for brows I'm using the Too Faced Fluff and Hold Laminating Brow Wax and the Kosas Brow Pop Nano. So as you can see from the title, we are moving! The background right now looks normal, but everything else around me is in complete shambles. We started packing up my makeup room a few days ago, and all of this is all that is left. So it's still a lot left, but everything around me in my life is in shambles. I talked about this in my Odin's Eye Swatch and Sip. I was like, sorry guys, I just don't have time right now. It's because I'm planning for a very, very big move because we are leaving Florida, leaving Miami. I'm really sad about it. And we're going back up to where I come from, the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. I always feel really weird doing videos talking about myself because I just feel like literally who cares? But I do love watching these videos of people talking about their life updates, you know, where they're moving to, what's going on in their life. So I thought I would share about our move that's coming up in literally just a few days. So my husband and I, we are always planning for the next step. So we have been talking about what our plans were. If you don't know, we moved to Miami over 2 years ago, and we decided to move to Miami because my husband used to have family that lived here. He is originally from Spain, moved to America, married me, so I kind of gave him some freedom to pick where we lived since I had some freedom with my job. So he picked Miami because he was familiar with it, and everybody here speaks Spanish. His first language is Spanish. There's a lot more people from Spain down here. It just made a lot more sense. He would be a lot more comfortable here. He misses the Spanish sun. Miami gets a little bit more sun here, though a lot more rain as well. So that's initially why we moved down here. I also had a dream of wanting to experience life in a city at one point in my life. So I jumped at that opportunity to be able to live out my city girl dreams because in my heart within me, I am definitely a city girl. So we did the big move. We've been here for a couple years, and we've spent these last couple of years deciding what's next. We've always wanted to own a house, to be honest. We've always wanted to buy a property and invest in that instead of spending so much money on rent, mostly because, you guys, if you are familiar, Miami's rent is very, very expensive. So we knew we didn't want to rent. So we were looking at all types of options. These last couple of years, we were looking at condos in Miami. We were looking at places outside of Miami. We've been looking at different parts of Florida. For a while, we thought our next step, honestly, we were going to move to Charlotte, North Carolina. We were seriously looking there. We actually stayed there for a few days, looked at some properties there. We looked at a few different apartments there as well to decide if, you know, maybe we want to live in an apartment first. I feel like we've done it all. The big thing with us is that we wanted to stay on the East Coast. So that did limit it a little bit because my husband's family all lives in Spain. So it already is difficult enough, you know, talking to them with the time difference, as well as we don't want to make the flight any longer to Spain because we're going to be going there pretty frequently. So we had to stay on East Coast time using the new MAC Studio Radiant Serum Powered Foundation for today. So between going back and forth between potentially buying a condo in Miami, potentially buying a house in Charlotte, we also went to, if you guys are familiar, Arlington, Virginia. We looked there as well. Lots of different places. And ultimately, you guys know how the market is. And ultimately, what kind of made the decision was we found a house in Maryland that was everything that we wanted and needed in a house. Because Jose and I were getting very discouraged because there was always something wrong where we felt like where we were looking. You know, either the area was too expensive, the interest rates are already crazy, so we couldn't afford any of the places there that had the space that we had, or the spaces were just ultimately too small. There was always something where we just couldn't make a decision on what we wanted to do. And then when we visited my parents on Thanksgiving, funny enough, we were apartment hunting in DC, and we were getting discouraged again because the prices of the DC apartments were literally the same thing that we could have in Miami. So we were like, well, we would definitely just stay in Miami. And then we started looking at houses outside of DC, and we came across this house. It was the perfect house, you guys. It had the exact amount of rooms that we needed. The price was pretty good. I wanted some walkability. There was a little bit of walkability. It's still in suburbia. I did want to stay in the city, so that's definitely a con, but we can't afford anything like in the city. But anyways, we just made a rash decision, as Jose and I tend to do, and we put down money for this house. And in November, Thanksgiving, we bought a house. Honestly, it was very last second decision, which I don't think is necessarily the most responsible thing of us, but we knew we wanted a house. We had crossed off living in Miami because the condo fees were crazy, and also I just wanted more space. We both just wanted more space. I wanted Jose to be able to have his hobby room like I have my hobby room, and so that's why we were looking at houses. But with the market, with interest rates right now, it just wasn't looking possible. But then it was the house. The house spoke to us, and it was within our budget. It has so much space for us that we were just like, let's just do it. I will say, in terms of leaving Miami, I am a little bit sad. I feel like it was a little bit premature. I did want to live here for another year at least. Like, Jose and I both knew Miami was not going to be our forever home. I really don't want to have kids here. I don't want to be so far from family. And I'm not pregnant or anything, but like when we do decide to have children, I don't want to be living here. This was just supposed to be our experience in our 20s, living in a city. It was good for my job. Jose got to have the Spanish influence here. So we knew it was never going to be a forever thing. However, it did kind of give me some whiplash. Like to just go visit my family for Thanksgiving to then purchasing a house and going like, oh my gosh, we're leaving, we're moving. For eyeshadow, I'm going to use a few shades from the new Odin's Eye Earthwood palette. This is the Fancy Face palette, so Tina curated this one. Really beautiful. Don't hate me, but I'm probably going to stick to the neutrals today. I don't know. We'll see where this takes me. Maybe we'll go purple. Anyways, living in Miami has been so amazing for me. It definitely wasn't my dream place that I wanted to stay at forever. It was too hot. I'm too sweaty. I miss the seasons. And I am an only child. I missed my family. I did get homesick, but it was an amazing experience. I got to live in a city. I got to experience things like going to influencer events and stuff, which I never ever thought I would go to any, if I'm being honest with you guys. It really feels like I've been on vacation for the last 2 years. Shopping here has been amazing. I have loved so much of it. But I'm not gonna lie, a part of me is happy to be moving to an area that I'm more familiar with. Wow, that was really gorgeous and pigmented. Oh my goodness. I worry about Jose in the Maryland weather though. We don't get as much sun in Maryland. I'm gonna use this shade petal right here. But I'm hoping all of the space and our beautiful house is going to make up for it. And I just want to say, like, it's not lost on me how times are so difficult right now financially for a lot of people. We really are so blessed to be able to purchase a home in the time where these interest rates are out of pocket. Don't get me wrong, I wish interest rates were not the rate that they were, but you know, laying everything down on paper, buying a house even with these interest rates is still a better deal than what renting is going to be able to give us for what we're paying in Miami right now. So it still is the better option for us. And you guys know I've posted almost every day, 4 to 5, sometimes 6 or 7 videos a week for the last few years because I have been saving to buy a house. I've honestly worked so hard and grinded a lot and worked endless hours to be able to make this happen. Yeah, so I am so grateful that I am able to be in this position, that this is something that's possible for me right now, you know, and that it's even an option for us. But let's talk about the house a little bit. So like I said, Jose and I had yet to come across a house that fit our needs, and we were getting really discouraged about it. The market was not marketing for us. If you are within my generation, my age group, it's rough out here for us, okay? The second we graduated college and were able to enter the real world, inflation hit us like a dang brick. Okay? Interest rates rose up. We've been struggling out here, okay? So the fact that I feel like we found this house in this market is insane because all of the houses that were within our budget were absolute shacks. I'd argue that my apartment in Miami was bigger than some of those. So we found one that had multiple bedrooms. Jose would be able to have his own gaming / hobby room. Oh my god, that shade is beautiful. And one of the things weirdly that he said he wanted, it had. So what made this house seem perfect is there was a couple of things that Jose and I kind of had on our wish list where it wasn't a break it kind of situation, but we were like, it would be really nice if Jose wanted a room with a wet bar so he could put his drinks and snacks in there when he gamed. The room had a dang wet bar. I wanted this specific type of patio. It had that type of patio, and it had the perfect number of rooms. Our guest room and guest bathroom, they have their own floor, and it's a full bath. And the guest situation was very important to us because Jose's family could now visit us and not have to pay for hotels and Airbnbs. They can stay in our house, and they'll have their own privacy. And my beauty room, you guys. Okay, so let me tell you, houses these days, I feel like they're not making bedroom sizes like they used to. All of the bedrooms that we were looking at were so tiny, but this house had such a good number of bedrooms that I actually am gonna have my own beauty room and my own filming studio. It's because the bedrooms are super tiny, but they're right next to each other, and I am actually really excited about this because then I don't have to have my ugly lights and camera in the middle of my beauty room destroying the aesthetic. Now I can have a legitimate room where I don't have to crawl over cords, and I can get ready for the day. And then when I'm ready to work and film, I can just pop on over to my studio. So I'm really excited for that as well. And I'm really excited for the kitchen as well. I mean, I love my kitchen in my apartment. It's amazing. I'm not a huge cook. I'm definitely a beginner, but I really enjoy cooking. So we just have a little bit more counter space. The appliances are nicer. The big thing for me with this apartment is that the drawers were way too small. We have so much drawer space in the new house. But listen, even though I'm excited to have a house, I don't know how excited I am to be a homeowner and the responsibilities of that. I don't know anything about like houses and how they work. I love living in an apartment, and when something's wrong, I can just call our maintenance guys here who are amazing and they come up and fix it. I don't know what we're gonna do if something breaks. We're gonna have to figure it out. I mean, we felt ready to be homeowners, but also I'm a little scared. Well, very scared, to be honest. But we are a lot closer to my parents now. So if anything goes awry, I feel like my dad can come and help me. So that, I mean, was one of the biggest reasons that we decided to move more up north. I mean, like I said, we were looking at Charlotte, which is still pretty far away from my parents. But when Charlotte ended up just not being exactly what we wanted at that time, we were like, okay, well, then if we're going to move anywhere, we can at least move somewhere where we're going to have family nearby. Like, that would be lovely. So as you can imagine, I think my parents are very excited. My grandmother is probably very excited as well to have me a little bit closer, or a lot closer. You know, because there have been instances in Miami where Jose and I have felt isolated. Because think about it, his family lives all the way in Spain. Mine lived all the way up in Maryland. So there was just some times where you felt like you needed a family member to help you with something and they just couldn't be there. Using some Temps de Chanel. So I think at the end of the day, that was the main reason for the move. We knew we wanted to own. We knew we wanted to eventually move out of Miami. We knew we wanted more space. And then when we found the perfect house, and it was much closer to my parents' house versus being all the way in Miami, we were like, this is it. Now this house is not going to be our forever house for sure. It's a beautiful house and it has everything that we need right now. But we do have bigger plans for the future in terms of a dream house, but this house is going to serve us definitely very well for the next few years. This Patrick Ta brush, I've been loving it so much for nose contour. I am a little nervous for this city to suburbia move, you guys. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I mean, I grew up in the suburbs too, but I don't know. I'm gonna miss my walking to my group fitness classes. You guys, we live walking distance to Trader Joe's. We are no longer going to live walking distance to Trader Joe's. How upsetting is that? You guys know I'm obsessed with solid core. It was right below my building when I would go. I had cycling classes galore. I'm going to miss my workout classes. I'm going to miss Trader Joe's. I'm going to miss the walkability that Miami has and all that it has to offer. I don't know what I'm going to do, but at least I'll feel safe to drive to places, I guess, and it won't be crazy. The thing with Miami, these drivers are absolutely insane and so unsafe. I've never seen crazier driving. So much so, you guys, I literally just stopped driving altogether in Miami. So I haven't driven in 2 years. I'm gonna have to relearn how to drive, but at least I won't feel like I'm going to literally die and risk my life every time I get on the roads in Miami. I don't know what it is about these drivers. They don't know how to stay in a lane. They just swerve like this. They go so fast. Some of these drivers are just like, they have to be the dumbest people. I don't know. Anyways, that I think was the one thing about Miami that I felt like I definitely couldn't live here long term. I don't feel safe on these roads. If I had children, I wouldn't feel safe with them driving on the roads. I lose a lot of independence not feeling comfortable driving here. So I'm gonna have to learn how to drive again. But at least the driving's a lot easier over there. And I used to drive like all over DC and stuff when I was doing wedding makeup and all of that. So it's not like I don't have experience with city driving, but Miami is just on another level. Going to put some nude liner in my waterline. This is one that I picked up in Spain. Also in Spain, I picked up this, but I think you can get it in the US, the Jacob Blush Mellow. I'm going to use this for my blush today. But anyways, I mean, I guess, you know, we are closing the chapter on Miami. I did say to Jose, if we ever became rich, I definitely still want to buy that condo in Brickell. But that's definitely not in the plans anytime soon. I want to do a yearly trip to Miami as well because I do love it so much, especially in February. The weather right now is just insanely perfect. I am in my happy place right now. I'm actually sad we are moving this month because I am loving the weather so much. I feel like it was really dark though, dark and rainy. For most of this past year, I have not been a fan of it, but right now I am thriving in the weather here. So I'm so sad about that. But it's an exciting journey. You know, we're gonna have this house that's gonna be very expensive to furnish. It's like, it's crazy, you know, you buy a house and you put all your money into buying the house and then you're like, dang, I gotta buy more stuff to fill up this space. So I'm also not very good at decorating, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll probably go to Instagram and ask you guys for some ideas and stuff. I probably won't show my house. I just honestly don't feel comfortable doing that, but I'll share spaces here and there. I, of course, am going to share my beauty room and everything with you guys. But if you are skilled in decorating, hit me up on Instagram, and I might ask you for some advice because I don't know. I'm not, it's too much house. I don't know what to do with it. We're gonna use the new L'Oreal Panorama Voluminous Mascara. You know, I also want to extend a thank you to you guys because I wouldn't be able to be in this position if it weren't for my viewers. Of course, you know, I work my booty off to have been able to make this possible, but also, you know, it's you guys that are here along for the ride. So thank you for every minute that you've spent hanging out with me, doing your makeup with me, eating with me. You know, if you've needed a review, thank you for trusting me and watching my review. You guys know I love what I do. It is my dream job. So I thank you for being a part of that with me. For lips, I'm using Skin by Kim lip liner in Nude 11. This is like a pretty mauvey undertone. Honestly, you guys, I've been liking these lip liners a lot more than I thought I was going to. They don't set down, which I don't like, but they don't have bad longevity. And then I'm going to use the Peri Para Ink Velvet in the shade Rose Nude. The look turned out so pretty, just a classic lavender look that I love. But that's that on that. The end of a chapter, the end of an era. Probably the last video with this background because I have to pack it up. Our movers are coming in 4 days and then they'll probably have my stuff for like 2 or 3 weeks. So I am going to be limited in what I can do video-wise. I've pulled some products for some video plans that I have, but if anything seems like lazily done or just not as professional and thought out as normal, you now know why. We are like moving pretty much across the country and I don't have my stuff, but I still do need to work, so I can't just take a break. This is paying for my house, you know? So I just did want to give you that heads up. I've been off of stories, really. I haven't been posting as frequently. I've been dealing with all of this, so that's what's going on. So I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me and getting ready with me. That's what's up in my life in this new chapter. I'm really excited. I'm really grateful. I can't wait to get into my new house. I'm going to be living with my parents the next couple of weeks while our stuff is in transit. So I'm going to get some good quality time in, and then who knows how long it's going to take me to unpack my beauty room and figure out what I want to do for that. So hey, everything is so exciting. I don't do life updates very often because not much goes on in my life. So this one's a big one. So I did want to update you guys on what was happening. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new here, you picked an interesting one to watch, but I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe. I do a lot of beauty tutorials, beauty reviews, best and worst new products, all of that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.